shelters. T.A. Walker right here, but we are joined by Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office Sheriff Ric Bradshaw.
Hey.
We thank you for being here. I know it's a busy time.
Okay, that's all right. It's my pleasure. It's good to get the information out.
So do you have everybody working right now?
Well, the answer to that's yes and no. We've got probably pretty close to everybody out there, but we've tried to ramp this up incrementally so we don't burn our people out, because this thing is like, you know, it's like being chased by a turtle here. You know?
It is.
It's just
Exhausting.
unbelievable how slow it's gone. So, you know,
Yeah.
if you go too fast and you get your people out here, you burn them out, right? So we've tried to ramp up incrementally and looking for the height of this thing. So we still have a little bit in reserve, but we're pretty close to being where we need to be. And we will do the same thing after this moves away, hopefully. We'll incrementally ramp down so people feel comfortable about getting back in their neighborhoods, getting back to their businesses.
Yeah.
You know, and then we still got, you know, if there's any traffic problems or some more rain problems, we're going to be where we need to be to get people, you know, back to normal.
Got it.
So I know you've all been very busy doing a wide variety of things. Can you bring us up to speed on kind of the course of action for today?
Well, I'm going to a meeting at the EOC at 11. The policy board, which is the mayor, the county manager, the elected officials, the EOC manager, will make some decisions on where we think the storm is, based on what's happening with it now, see what the conditions are, and then make some decisions on the shelters, you know, what things are going to start opening back up, what our resource allocation is going to be. Those, we've had them every day, and we'll continue to have them every day until we're back to what we call normal.
Linda wants you to remind people what to do with the traffic lights if they go out.
Oh,
This
good,
is
a good question,
Right?
right? Nice question, right?
Yes.
Always treat it as a four-way stop, right? The big thing is, you know, this is not an emergency. You're not in a hurry. Pull up there, let the person on the right go, let the traffic clear, and then ease through it, okay? What you don't want to do is when the person in front of you goes, just decide, well, I'm going right behind them,
Right.
because the other person may decide the same thing, and then we got to crash.
The one I always try to avoid, though, during this time is a military trail at Okeechobee. That one is just a...
It's one of our busiest intersections every day.
On a good day, that's not good.
It's true. It's so busy.
Yes, but anyhow, just be patient and be courteous, and
Yeah.
everything works out good.
We unfortunately had you know, some news overnight that a road ranger had gotten into a collision with a driver, and there are these times where we have asked people just to stay off of the roads, and truly that patience really pays off.
Yeah, I mean, actually, when the conditions start getting even worse than they are now, hopefully they won't. But, you know, we don't need people out there before, during, or directly after the storm. You know, don't be curious. Just stay where you're at and let this thing subside, because even if you don't get the full hurricane, you still get puddles. The puddles get to where the canals are overflowing, and we got a lot of canals in Palm Beach County. People don't know where the road starts and the canal starts, and before you know it, they're in the canal.
Right.
Or they get into a puddle and their car stalls. Now we got to come and help them. So it's important to stay off the roadways unless you absolutely, positively have to be out there.
So Lena is really concerned that, and maybe you can speak for this because you've been at the EOC, she feels like nobody really knows where the storm's going.
Well, guess what? That's the true thing. Even the National Hurricane Center,
Yeah.
we have a call right into them before we have our policy group meeting.
Sure.
They don't know exactly where the storm's going, and they're the people that do this for a living. This has been one of those things, you know, I haven't seen one like this in 50 years of being out here as law enforcement, right? That has just stayed in one spot and hasn't made a definitive move for as long as it's been in place. So, you know, everybody out here in the public will know everything that we know as soon as we know it.
Yeah.
Right? So the best thing to do is watch Channel 5. You guys are on top of it with the weather. You're going to tell everybody where it's going, when it's going. But right now, nobody knows.
Right.
Yep.
A lot of people have repeatedly, over and over and over again, asked about curfews. What's your...
Well, we don't like to do curfews unless we have to. Curfews are when the lights are out, the damage is bad, we're trying to protect people's property. You know, and it's very restrictive. So we don't like to do that. It's always a measure of last resort. And even then, we try to make it to where it's not oppressive. So right now, we're not even going in that direction.
I think, when we're thinking about law enforcement, okay, they're here to help us, they're here to serve us, but these are men and women who, during these times, step away from their own homes, their own families, and they are in these positions doing everything they can to help us. We have to remember, too, while we're out there, out and about, that they're doing a job that can be dangerous. And sometimes being in an intersection where there's been a crash is one of the most dangerous spots, or off to the side of a big, busy road.
Oh, absolutely. And look, the reality of it is, and I know this is going to come as a really surprise to you, guess what? People are on their phones even in the bad weather. So they're not paying attention. They're either trying to look at the weather map or something, and before they know it, they look up and bang, they're hitting somebody that's in an intersection where we're trying to work.
Right.
All right? So, pay attention to what's going on. Even when the weather is good and things are back to normal, get off of these doggone cell phones when people are driving. I don't care if it's texting, I don't care if it's talking. Pay attention to the road.
You know what I had to do, because it's a hard habit to break? I have to put my phone in the trunk of my car.
Yeah.
I just have to put it in there, because it's just so tempting to pick
Whatever
up that phone.
it takes, yeah.
Distracted driving is probably getting to be almost the #1 cause of crashes,
Wow.
especially rear ends.
Yeah.
Because we're looking like this. And I'm going to tell you, it's surprising how fast and how far you can travel in 2 or 3 seconds that you just take this quick glance to this phone.
Sure, absolutely.
You think it's quick.
So what's your biggest advice for people that they're at home, they're asking, are the banks open, are the grocery stores open, they want to get out? What is your overall advice to people?
Hopefully this will not last much longer.
Okay.
Hopefully within the next 6 to 8 hours, we're going to see this thing do what it's going to do. And if it does what everybody hopes that it's going to do and start moving away from this area, the conditions will get better. We'll start easing up. People can get back to their homes. The business will start opening. And hopefully it won't be much longer. But in the meantime, just hang on, folks.
And also remember, we are in the peak of hurricane season, and this is not over yet. So if you've gathered all these supplies, you've made these preparations, this is not, that's not how that works. It's not like you get one and then, now we're done for the year or something.
Right,
you got to remain vigilant and remain prepared and take these warnings seriously. We don't want to give you these warnings.
Well, you want to go home so you can go to work. That's basically what it is.
I know. Actually, it's been not a bad little vacation right here. But you know what? We got, a month and a half, almost 2 months left.
That's right.
We could be doing this again. I don't want to.
Right.
But, the reality of it is in South Florida, we could do it again.
And Ashley brought this up when we were walking in. Thanks to and kudos to your guys who are away from their families during the storm. We really appreciate that.
Yep. We try to forecast ahead of time. Tell them, look, go home, get your house in order, get your family set up, because men and women in law enforcement, they run into danger, not away from it. And I think sometimes people forget that.
We're so grateful for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Be safe, folks.
Do you want to wrap it up and I'll hit the
Okay,
button?
all right, we'll do that. We want to say thank you, everybody, for trusting us with this important coverage, and we appreciate our men and women of law enforcement and first responders who truly give it their all during these times. So thank you. We will try to answer as many comments as we can. Make it a good day out there.